Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Check me out. Just getting awake. And I thought I'd come over here real fast before I get into my business. Say hello. Give you a little update on what's going down. Now, I love my friend, little Sable Chicken. I think that she's getting closer to all this idea with this coming over to the other side and maybe getting a little understanding, which is very important. And what I wanted to tell her and to tell other people, this idea of building a altar to the Lord. All right, it's mostly a stone altar when they talk about it. Excuse me. In the stories, the way it works is that when one of these guys sees Jesus, sees God, or something like that, they build an altar to the Lord. Most of the time, even like with comes down to when Moses or when Noah makes it up to the top of the mountain, he makes an altar. He also builds some kind of a vineyard. All right, he becomes a husbandman, and this is the same way with Moses. He becomes a husbandman. He plants an orchard or something, some kind of something where it's the vine. So they build an altar unto the Lord, and it's a stone altar, which is talking about here. So then it's not man-made, and so that's the point of the whole thing, is that they were giving bricks and slime instead of stone to do their praying with, and so they're not going to get anything from the outside with man-made objects, whereas if they could go on the inside, they'll be talking about something more natural. This is where the story of the vine had to go and plant a vine. That's why the story of heaven is like someone planted a vineyard and then leased it out to someone else, and they got no fruit from it. And every time they came back to it, they found that they was getting no fruit from it. And so the owner of the vineyards has to get killed in order to get the fruit out of them, because that's how these stories work. Because we come out without God first, so we have to have a vineyard. Once we finally start talking to God, it becomes we have to rebuild the tabernacle. We have to rebuild this place because it's not there. There's a grievous head wound in the place where this stuff works. Everything is blocked up and clogged up. Our eyes can't see, our ears can't hear, and we have no real knowledge of it. All we have is a superstitious belief going on, and it's being handed to us by preachers that have absolutely no power unto God in one way, shape, or form. All of this exists in you. It takes the efforts of the people on the outside. They're the ones that are contributing to the building of the temple. We are going to get them. We're getting information from them. We're getting beat up by them. We're being loved by them. We are being tortured by them. We are learning, doing our works through the religious side of the Bible, because that's all we were given, and we had to make suffice to it. But anyways, all these stories, I'm going to build an altar unto the Lord. And it's a stone altar unto the Lord, using a natural thing. When it comes down to the stone, it's nothing like the pineal gland. Remember that, at the top of the ladder, with Jacob's ladder, he fell asleep. He used a rock. He used a stone for a pillow, which is comfort. He laid down and he saw people going up and down, or energies up and down this ladder. And lo and behold, at the top, he sees God face to face, and he calls the place Peniel. I mean, that is just so beautiful, But That's the rock. That's Petra. That's Peter. It's that guy, you know. Remember the gates of the Lord is the sixth chakra. This is that little box, that little room, that little place that's mentioned in the Bible and many other stories, that we come to this particular place after a lot of work. We finally get to this place and we're ready to serve the Lord, but we still have a little more to go. We just can't seem to be able to make it over that sixth chakra into the day that the Lord had made. All right. Now, when people think of God as something that's just going to hit them on the head like some kind of a coconut or lightning, that's not how it is. You yourself have to sit down, shut your mind off, and allow all this stuff to happen. So it's not God doing this to you. It is you. It's the Father of yourself coming into play here. It's the Father of you. And we're trying to hook up with Mother. And we just can't do that with bricks, you guys. That's not the way it works. We won't get her. We get the bitch. We get the whore. And the whole thing is about building this vine. Rebuilding the interiors and setting us close to God and connecting us to God. And we're guaranteed to be able to hold on to this for the rest of our lives, whatever that is. You know, many of us don't understand that we've been around already a bunch of many lives. I don't have access to my past lives. Not yet. But I've got a good grip on this one that I'm living right now. Yes. So I was just letting you know that the whole Bible is about rebuilding the temple. The entire thing. There's only a few people in that Bible that have made it over there. If you want to really, get down to brass taxes, you know that it's that if we come in threes, this is in thirds. The idea is that our worlds come in thirds, and it's that even if the worlds, the four represent the west and the north and the south, and then eventually the east. We come into town with this is the Chaldees, the Ur Chaldees. If you look that up, they're going right into dens of thieves and robbers. Remember, this is the person, the Barbados, Barbar. That's the guy that they set free. They set the murderer free, and they killed Jesus. So you'll see that we've been handed a murdering or a group that does nothing. It's the idea that, when you fall in the outside world, you're a dead motherfucker. Dead. That's what that's about. You drink her wine, dead. You follow her way, dead. And that's our trespasses. It's already prearranged for us to blaspheme God and get on his bad side from the moment we're born. And then as soon as we find out about this God, we either reject him or we search for him. And our Bible tells us right off the bat, if you're going to search for him, you're going to have to learn to rebuild what you don't have in you no more. And all those parts are still there. They just need to be shined up, put back to life. And we have to somehow or another come through all the different kinds of ways that they use to pollute our minds and pollute our bodies so that we could never get to this other side, And, this idea of the outside world, we have to overcome it. So I've had enough of that world. But it's not like you just up and die or anything like that. You just gain, some kind of interest in your brain. You got Lord coming back to life now. You've got all the facilities it takes to continue your life. But this time you get to do a little bit more abundantly, a little on the side of God. You get to have. He says, you know, you always have poverty in your worlds, you know, but you're only going to have me for a short time, and that's what he's talking about. He said, and it's not like there's a whole mess of people that are allowed to jump over onto this other side. You know, it's a very few people that get to pop over to the other side. You can tell by our numbers, nobody really listens. Nobody watches this part of it. Or, you know, we'd have thousands of people. There'd be thousands of us. Really, hundreds of us, maybe. But in reality, it's just a few. Look how we absolutely get no play whatsoever on this channel with the YouTube people. You know, you would think that there'd be a lot of people that just want to, what does that mean? Can we go and hear this? You know, I would think that I would be getting opposition. But no. All I get is my friend here, Birdie Bird. And I think she's pretty, sooner or later, we're going to drag her ass over onto this other side. And she'll be a happier girl. All that crying and business that she has to put up with all the time. We're going to put her back in her right mind. We have to get it built first. And that's what all this is about. When it comes down to making a temple to the Lord and bringing some kind of rock. Remember, you're going to get water, fountains from this deep, from this rock, so that it can water the thousands of people that represents you, you know, your brethren and stuff like that. And Jesus tells you to knock on this rock, and you were going to get, and water was going to flow out of it. Well, those are the deep. That's the fountains of the deep. And this is, Jesus says to some Samaritan woman, he says, you know, this is Jacob's well. You know, if you can drink from this well, you're still going to be thirsty tomorrow. He says, but I'll tell you what, if you can drink from the well that I will show you, if you drink from this one, you'll never thirst again. And it all has to do with that rock, that idea of the stone that the builder rejects. That's you are the builder, and it becomes the headstone and the corner. So just very, very interesting wording, but it matches up with all the other different things, all the other scriptures that have to talk about this grievous head wound and what it takes to try to get this to come back alive to us. But let's see, like those three people, those three parts of our body that we are. Let's see, when Abram comes in, Abram is really the only person in that group that's going to benefit from things. He doesn't have a real wife, Sarah. That's his wife, his lower level wife. They don't have H's in their names. And who do they take along with them as their brother? Is Lot. Lot is the one that winds up in the cave, up in the mountains, and he is saved while everybody else is out doing their work. And after this, he winds up drinking the wine. He's the one that gets raped by his sisters or his daughters and stuff like that. This is this idea of mixing with the spirit and with the emotions and so that's what these two female things are about, and this idea of drinking the new wine. And so those are the three. And this is his brother's son that he's using. So it must be, you know, it's the same idea as your messenger. And that's how he works, you know. He's the one that's going on the inside. Abraham is representing the father, the father, right, of millions of people. You know, he's the leader of millions, right? His wife never existed, and neither any of his sons. They are represented as your messenger. These guys that come inside, the ones that he has to turn around and give up later on. Oh, well, anyways, it comes down to those three all the time. And the three people that are up on that are being sacrificed at the end of the story with Jesus, Jesus and the two thieves, and the cracking of their legs, the breaking of this fourth kingdom, which is established through the lower mind and lower conscious with religion. And when you build your altar to God and you reset yourself and you've got yourself now, the kingdom of God working with you, he's now in the building with you. Well, then what you get then is you get this idea of let's pull this all together and let's lock it in. We're not going to let it go ever again. Once you make it over to this other side, you are there. There's no turning back. And they've been waiting for you to come alive for a long time. So you're the prodigal son. And it's like they say, thank God, thank you for coming. Thank you, and we bless you. Because you're representing light now into the world. And evidently, this dark planet of ours doesn't need a whole lot of light to make it run. But, you know, this is that time of our lives. You know, they said like in the times when you, in Aquarius, that you're going to come to a man with a pitcher, wants you to go up into his house and up into his upper room where he'll meet us. All right. So this is the whole idea, is to go up in that upper room. Remember when it came down to the stories of what's on the outside and what's on the inside there, the priests, you know, take the high seats in the synagogue in the upper room. Well, this happens to be the same place where we go up to sup with God. And of course, but you're supping with a bunch of religious people in a synagogue up here. This is their synagogue, where their tabernacle is. It's this thing outside, you know. And you have to wash your feet and stuff like that. Everything is done for you in a systematic way that represents an outside way of doing something. Even the bricks, you know, they're bricks, they're not stone. So we wind up with this, with the inside part, you know, like when Jesus is taken to be killed and sacrificed, you know, he's taken up to the boss, you know, to the preacher, or not the preacher, I don't know, the king or something like that. So the king is the crown, you know, he's inside of there, and just outside his place is the gate. This is where we find Peter and his partner rushing to the gate. His buddy gets to go in. Jesus already went in, and his partner came in after them. And then they had to send for a female to come and open up the gate and let Peter in. And what do? They go and hang out by a fire and warm their hands. That's what goes on the outside. But if you were on the inside, you're going to go through God's wrath. This is the seventh chakra, and it's going to clean house. And it's all about that fire, brimstone, stuff like that. So you have an outside way of doing something, and you have an inside way of doing something. Everything points to the inside, you know, but unbeknownst to a lot of people in this world, lots and lots of people, the outside is where it's at. And the Bible says, I'm sorry, you got it wrong. All right, so the Bible is getting a little clearer all the time. We came to this earth to learn how to be ourselves. All right, and so they only give us a half a mind to do that with. And once you've learned what the hell you want, what you're doing and stuff like that, when you can still become a good guy with all those bad cards stacked against you, well, beautiful things happen to you, and it becomes like he rewards us. You rest now. We've worked off of your back for a long time. Now we're going to go and we're going to let these other people work for you now. We're going to fix it so that you have better life now that you have God in you. All right. So anyways, it's strange. I've never had it before in my life, and I'm living it as we go. But the whole point of the matter is that we came in without God. and we are dead, and our job is to seek this God and to change our minds so that we are now given both sides of the mind, and we become whole, not just half brained. That half brain situation with the part of you dead is what causes confusion in people's lives. And there's this idea that you don't have where we usually go for our wisdom and our knowledge, which is fish, food, and stuff like that, nourishment. We usually go to the right side of the brain for her. This is the way it's been all our lives. This is the way it's been for eons and eons and eons. That this is where wisdom comes from. And it just seems to just be planted in your head, and all of a sudden you just seem to know what's going on. But the same thing is the idea that we have to rebuild this place in our mind. Otherwise, we just have to go outside, and the outside just gives us one lie after another. It's just crazy. So lies and stuff like that are about being thirsty, about water. You're not going to get any rest on the outside. Because that religion doesn't allow you to have any rest. They like to say they give you rest, but no, it's a lie. It's just they can't do anything. Put you on the head, you're saved. No, you're not. But anyways, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. All right, you need to put them in you need to figure out how to get both sides of the brain to work, and everything will be fine after that. All right. So keep on pushing there, bird. And all you other guys out here. It's worth it. It's worth your time and task. It really is. They've been doing it for thousands of billions of years. And it's the way Earth operates. No matter what time, a world, or anything, because a whole lot has gone over our world. Lots and lots and lots of civilizations have come through. And each one of those civilizations has had this coded business of some kind of a religion to thwart us off our path, so that we will gain some kind of respect and knowledge to God one day, which will pay off. But you got to put your works in first. Chappie said, I love you. Good morning.